when we finally got the monkey train rolling, and basically we caught ourselves in a complex L-shaped ambush, which is the worst thing that can happen to you.
Now, who was in your truck?
In my truck at that time was Specialist Davis was driving, Captain, our team leader. I won't name names there, was in the truck. He refused to get out of the truck and clear the route with Lieutenant Broadway. He said Broadway was being foolish and wasting time, and he needed to get back in the truck because we had a timeline that was blown. And Broadway told him, well, we'll get there when we get there. We're going to clear the road. So Broadway took the only dismounts we had left, which were himself, Billingsley, and Bullard. And as he did every single mission, he led the way.
Now, did an IED go off, or did you guys just start getting shot at?
Well, that they initiated the ambush with an IED. And that's what I mean when I say a complex ambush. They were getting smarter, and they knew, up to that point, their tactics were pretty much just to use anti-personnel mines to disrupt movement or disable vehicles, but it was pretty much a one and done. Something would blow up and that was it. But starting that day was a new tactic, which was as soon as the ID goes off, open up with every single thing they had. So the first thing that alerted anyone to danger was a massive explosion in front of the first truck, in between the truck and the dismounts on the road. And they immediately opened up with small arms and light machine guns. And they even brought out RPGs, mortars, and recoilless rifles. They literally hit us with every single thing they had. What we didn't know at the time was that they had been baiting the Canadian QRF all morning, and they're trying to draw the Canadians out because the Canadians had tanks. So they were set up with a complex ambush, prepared to engage 4 Canadian Leopard 2 tanks, and instead they got 3 American Humvees. So turkey shoot.
So you were way outgunned, way outmanned. Now, when you seen Sergeant Bullard go down, were you hit at this point, or was that afterwards?
Well, basically what happened, our training was when something detonated, push through. So the IED detonated, all the dismounts jumped into a ditch on the right side of the road. There's a deep culvert on the right-hand side of the road. They jumped in for cover. The first Humvee pushed through the explosion site and kind of got out of the kill box. And our third Humvee backed up behind another wall and got itself out of the kill box. Unfortunately, I was in the middle Humvee, and I was trapped immediately in the middle of the kill box. So at the time when Bullard was hit, I was very busy engaging targets with my crew serve weapons. At the time, I had used my prior welding knowledge skills to weld up some new weapon mounts for the trucks and some fancy little gadgets. So I had a 50 cal was my primary weapon system, and I had a M249 saw as a secondary. and I also had my M4 and my M9, and I had two 25 millimeter ammo cans on either side of my turret to hold extra boxes of 50 ammo as my ready ammo boxes. So I was very busy. The minute the enemy realized that the first truck wasn't disabled and that we weren't trapped, that's when they brought their RPGs to bear on the first truck. At that time, Sergeant Bullard followed his training, had gotten out of the ditch, and was using the hood of the Humvee as cover, using the engine block as cover, and returning fire over the hood. And so when they brought the RPG to bear on the first truck to try to trap us in that spot, it actually skipped across the hood and hit Bullard.
Now you got a citation for actually going to help Sergeant Bullard under fire, correct?
Well, I didn't actually go to help him. Basically, what had happened was shrapnel from the RPG that hit Bullard flew back and hit the gunner on the lead truck and knocked him out and took him out of the fight. So the minute Bullard was taken out of the fight, it also took down our main weapon system on that truck. And the third truck was not in a position to return good suppression fire. So I manned my turret, and in spite of my ammo being shot and catching fire and being shot 4 times, being knocked out for about 5-10 minutes, I got back up and continued to lay suppression fire down because at that point I couldn't hear anymore. I was completely deaf, and all I could see was somebody was laying beside the ditch, and there was nobody in the first truck. And so I thought that the gunner had been blown out of the truck. I didn't even realize that was Bullard at the time. I thought it was our lead gunner, and then realizing that I was the only crew serve weapon capable of providing cover, I just went into overdrive and made sure that I kept the suppression going so that they could recover the body and that we could get back in the trucks and get out of there.
So then you guys DD mount, you got back to base?
Well, actually, we had to continue to the checkpoint. And at that point, we called in the contact, and that was when we figured out one of the main things that had gone wrong. Our commander had forgot to turn off the jamming equipment in our truck that was designed to jam radio control IEDs. Well, it also jams radio communication. So the entire time that we were in this fight, I was calling for help and I wasn't getting any answers. And I was told that we had close air support on station and I couldn't get them. And, by the time we got to the substation, that's when we realized their radios weren't working either. I thought it was perhaps the radio had been shot. When we got to the substation, that's when we realized the captain never turned off the jammer.